where most organizations fail. It's this firefighting approach. It's this panic approach rather than, giving sales and marketing the strategy, the resources, the importance that they need on a day-to-day, short and long-term basis to be a successful part of the organization. I think that takes us on to what we were going to talk about next is why do you think sales and marketing don't work together very well? Because they don't in a lot of organizations.
No, I think it's also because there's a short-term and a long-term mentality, and I'm a lateral thinker, so I'm thinking long-term. And when I invest in people, I'm not thinking about quick fixes. And I think the reason that marketing and sales don't work well together is because we're put under unrealistic pressure to solve all the problems. So a lot of organizations wait until things aren't going well to bring us on board or to ramp up. So maybe they have a bare bones marketing and sales strategy, but then things are going south, the economy is going south, they lose a big client, a new competitor starts taking away their business, and then they bring us on board as if we were firefighters or maybe the first cross. We're there, the Red Cross, to come in, the brigade to save them. Whereas they should be thinking that marketing and sales need to be part of the budget eternally for the entire duration that the company is alive. A lot of times companies ask me, so how long do I need to have marketing, or how long do I need to have sales? And I say forever. Yes. I say forever until you're done. When you sell the company, we'll go away. We'll probably merge with a new company or something, but you need to have us from day one. And if you don't, you're going to pay the price because you're going to want quick results. Whereas your competitors have been doing SEO for 10 plus years. And they may not even have a good enough product, but they've been investing, just like a 401k. You can't expect to retire and live the rich life in retirement if you haven't been putting aside all these years. So consider your marketing and sales like your backup plan to ensure that you will be in a comfortable place. And that leads me to one more really important thing. You said about pipeline. What's the cost of customer acquisition, and what is the value? And this is for the audience here. What is the value that you put on the customer lifetime value? Those are questions that we should be asking, because B2B sales, the pipeline is longer. And if you've got a good building block of marketing and sales, we're going to just keep bringing in new pipeline, and it's going to pay for itself. So the problem with us, why do we think we're complaining, is because companies don't understand that they're going to have to pay us upfront, but they're going to get many, many times over the return. And so it's all about short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. When, compound interest, we're just like a financial investment, any financial investment. You invest in marketing and sales, and you put in, and you're like, okay, I'm putting in, and you don't see big returns in the beginning, but over time you see a massive amount of return. And when you look back, you're like, thank goodness now. And I'll give you one last example for this, Tracy, is when the economy suddenly goes south, who are the winners and who are the losers? The winners are the ones who have already marketing and sales strategies in place, and then they can adjust very quickly and they won't go under. But the people who haven't done any marketing and sales, they'll be the ones to lose immediately and very harshly. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100% agree with that as well. 100%. And whenever I go into organizations, I don't often work with the marketing departments. I do sometimes we do marketing training, but generally it's sales. And the first thing I always say to the sales team is, make friends with the marketing department if you're not, because they are going to be your biggest allies in your role. Because for me, I don't know how any salesperson does their job without the support of the marketing department. Marketing department not only help stack up all the leads that the sales department don't go after, like the web leads, the mail drop leads, event leads, all of those sorts of things that the salespeople don't get involved in, but the salespeople benefit from at the end of the line. But also the marketing department are your friend for things like lead magnets and information and things that you can share with your leads, your potential clients, your existing clients, which help you convert sales, which help you close sales, which help you retain existing customers and grow them. So in any organization, a sales and a marketing department that don't see this and are not working together, it baffles me. You know, sales are on the ground. Sales are the people who are out there day to day talking to your clients, talking to existing customers, talking to potential customers, going to events, going to marketing, going to networking events, etc. They should be coming back and feeding this valuable information that they're gathering to the marketing department. The marketing department should then be taking that information and using that towards creating support material, creating campaigns, deciding, should we do this? Should we do that? These two departments should be working so closely together. And then also, you know, they're supporting each other. Marketing departments are successful if sales do well. Sales are successful if marketing department does well. So they should be working together, and any organization that doesn't see that, I don't know. I've started to say to organizations when they come to us for sales training, are you going to put people from marketing in it? And they're like, why? They're marketing. No, I say, no, really, I would really like you to have one or two people from marketing come into this training if you don't mind. Because we need to get these two departments working closer together, I think, much closer together. But I think you are 100% right in terms of right at this moment in time in terms of pipeline. Anybody who's had a good strategy for the last 12 months, if the market's bad at the moment, they're okay. They're going to pivot. They're going to tweak a few things. Anybody who is waiting for things to go bad or to slow down and then think, what can I do right now to solve this? You're 6 months too late. You're 6 months too late. It needs to be a regular thing that you're keeping on top of. And I think probably the last thing I want to talk about, which hardly any company that I go into does, and I'm guilty of this myself running my own business. How do we track what works and what doesn't work, Krista?
Yep.
How do we track the ROI on what we're spending?
Let's talk about pipeline. Let's take a journey of a buyer. Okay. Let's just demonstrate this maybe visually. I'll explain it and we can discuss how this all maps into one linear process. Is we at the top of the funnel, we are trying to put out all kinds of ways of tracking people. For example, right now we are using a video conferencing tool to go live. And if you're an organization, marketing and sales can work together to create webinars for your customers. And we will have a lead gen form, like on LinkedIn. We can go through your company page. We can create a lead gen form so we can already track the people who came and signed up through there. Mm-hmm. Then that gets connected into our CRM, and our CRM will tag those leads so we know they've attended the LinkedIn webinar. Then we'll create a nice email sequence funnel specifically personalized for those people. Now, along the way, we'll try to ask them a few qualifying questions, like maybe even at the top of the funnel when they register, we may ask them one qualifying question, because every business has one qualifying question that we're trying to get out of them that can determine where they're at in their needs for our product. And so marketing can help with that, put that into the CRM. So then the sales team, when they actually reach out to that lead, they have all this amazing information. They already know that they were interested in this particular webinar with a specific name that can pretty much assume they're looking for solutions, or they're curious about solutions for that thing. Mm-hmm. Then the qualifying question in the lead gen form at the top of the funnel will tell us even further where they're at with that. Are they currently using a solution? Are they exploring options. And then we can say, hey, Tracy, thank you for attending our webinar last month around um, productivity software solutions. We see that you are just exploring options, and we just wanted to provide you with this lead magnet to guide you a little bit further. We've written this guide to understand a little bit how to pick the best productivity solution tool for your business.
Mhm.
If you're interested, here, download this. And also, if you're ready to move forward on a call, we have a free 30-minute consultation with one of our customer success managers who'd be happy to guide you further. And also, we have a free trial, 14-day trial of our product if you're interested. Thank you so much for attending again, and see you soon. So there you go. And that's how marketing and sales overlaps right there in that middle of the funnel. And then we see how they behave. And then sales takes it from there. And the beauty is we can track how many people converted. Was the lead magnet effective? Was the webinar effective? We can look at the past 6 months. How many webinars have we hosted? Which topics seem to resonate even more? And then we can work with sales. Well, it looks like we need to be talking more. When you do get on the sales calls, you can record them and you can save that in a shared cloud intranet drive so that we marketers can grab those transcripts from those calls, because we're confidential, we're in one company, and we can use those transcripts to address objections and then even tailor further what kind of top of the funnel content we put out. So it's this beautiful life cycle of a client. Then we can do satisfaction surveys. We can rate the webinar. We can say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you find the speakers? What else would you be interested in? Check these boxes if you want to, for future webinars. What questions do you have for our speakers? So we can really gather all this data and we can track to build this funnel that just converts like crazy. And then the next webinar will address all the objections, we'll address all the questions that we didn't get answered, so that we keep providing better and better value, and we're tracking the engagement further and further along.
And I think what I've taken from that is a lot. What I have taken from that is the fact that there are very easy ways to track things. And what happens in a lot of organizations, not all of them, is that they just don't use them. I go into organizations that have a pretty great CRM system in place, but the salespeople don't use it. And if the salespeople are not using it, it becomes difficult to track what's working and what's not working, and how long they're spending on certain activities and how long they're not spending on certain activities. And they could be not using it for a variety of reasons. Perhaps they've never been trained on it, or perhaps they don't see the value in using it. There's a lot of reasons why people don't use things. I go into organizations and work with lots of sales team who, they do certain things without understanding. Is it worth us doing this? Is it valuable in us doing this? Like, let's take, for example, a follow-up process. Some people follow up 10 times, but they haven't tracked whether following up 10 times is actually cost effective or not. Or should we just not knock that down to following up 3 times and actually move on to new leads? I know this is a subject for a whole separate podcast, but what I'm trying to say is, tracking what you're doing, tracking what money you're spending, tracking what time you're spending, tracking what apps, tracking what tech you use is super important, because we need to know, is what we're doing worthwhile? Is it worth the time we're spending? Is it worth the money we're spending? Is it worth the subscription we're paying on this? Because if we're just being what I call busy, or doing busy work doesn't pay the bills. So I think everything we've talked about with regards to sales and marketing needing more importance within the organization, needing more budget, needing more strategy, needing more training, needing to work better together is super important. But we need to be monitoring and tracking what we're doing and working out, is that the best use of our time and money and budget, or should we be doing something different? Should we be tweaking, pivoting, altering our strategy, altering our tools, altering our spending towards something that is a better way of doing it? Would you agree?
Absolutely. And that's why you need sales and marketing leadership, because a junior sales and marketing staff will not do that for you.
They won't.
And marketing and sales can creep up very quickly, and there's a lot of shiny object and FOMO, and there's a lot of tools that you feel like we might need to buy, and that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. So I would just want to, I know we're about out of time, but I
Yeah.
want to say that we're going to be doing the podcast about once a month, and we're
Mhm.
going to be welcoming any marketing and sales questions. So if you are a, CEO, an executive in a company, and you just, or even a solopreneur, but you're just like, what can I do for my sales and marketing? Please bring your questions to Tracy and me. We're both veterans in these fields, just on the opposite end of the funnel. And we're committed to making you successful, because ultimately we are not rivals. We are partners, and we are collaborators, and we are working together for the exact same goal, just at different stages in the process. And it is not an end linear cycle. It is a circle, a circular cycle that begins again and again. So there's a post-sales follow-up, there's more nurture, more engagement, there's upsells, there's loyalty programs, there's community engagement. So even after a sale is closed, marketing doesn't end. We continue on marketing to our existing customers and building loyal lifetime fans. And I just want to end by saying that I think we have to focus more on quality over quantity in all of our engagements, because I have talked to so many CEOs who tell me, well, a little bit of sales or a little bit of marketing is better than none. Even if it's not the top notch, even if we don't have the training, even if we don't have the quality. And I tell them, absolutely not. None is better than poor quality. None is better than ruining your reputation, because you only get one shot at making a first impression. And if the first impression of your brand is being distributed by an untrained salesperson who doesn't know, isn't knowledgeable about your product, isn't approaching the client in a respectful, professional way, or is overstepping the boundaries by following up 10 times, borderline harassment, this is not going to help your brand in any way, but it will hurt your brand. So please, it's better to invest in a little bit of senior level strategy from somebody like me and Tracy in marketing and sales, and then budget long term. Even if you can't do everything right now, it can be a phased approach, versus trying to bring in people who are underexperienced, underqualified, and mostly undersupported. They just don't have the materials, they don't have the tools, the CRM set up the right way, they don't have the training they need. This is a huge mistake that will hurt you more.
100%. And I just wanted to end by saying thank you for listening into our first joint live together. This will be transposed into a podcast, hopefully by the end of this month. We'll advertise when that goes live, and we'll be putting a podcast out to do with sales and marketing, as Krista was saying, every single month, a different topic to do with sales and marketing. This topic was all about the importance of sales and marketing within the organization on the bottom line, and why they need to work together more. We'll talk about different things in other podcasts and other lives. If you've got questions, let us know what those questions are. If you're not connected to us on LinkedIn, connect to us. If you've got any questions you want to ask for us, ask away. We are very passionate about bringing sales and marketing to the masses, whether you're an independent freelancer, whether you're a very small business owner, whether you work in a large organization. We are very passionate about making sales and marketing easy to understand and more accessible to all. So thank you so much for listening to us on this, our first live. I hope you'll join our podcast fans when it comes live, and subscribe to it. And we look forward to seeing you in June with another subject on sales and marketing.
Thank you, everyone who's tuning in either live or post in the replay. And just let us know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts about what we've talked about today, and connect with me and Tracy. And thank you, Tracy, for being an amazing co-host. We're going to be really covering a lot of valuable topics to ultimately increase the bottom line for companies. That's our common goal. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.